YouTube and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking about my recent trip to Nigeria, to Africa. Sì, sono andata, sono tornata, sono viva. And I actually decided to break my trip into two parts. I'm going to be doing two videos. You guys are in for a treat today. This first video is me talking about the stereotypes that are held about Nigerians here in Europe, specifically here in Italy, and why they are not correct. And now I finally have the video footage to prove and back up everything I'm about to say. This video is going to be more explanational, more talking. There will be a little bit of video, but it's more explanational. Whereas the second video that I'm gonna upload is the actual travel vlog, and that one will be more video footage and less of me talking. And I won't be talking about like the more negative stereotypes that there are about Nigerians. I'm just gonna be talking about my trip. It was really too long to cram into one video, so that's why I'm making two. And after you watch this video, you should definitely check out the travel vlog so you can see everything that I saw, because at the end of the day, I think that's the kind of video that'll really make the biggest difference. This video has been such a long time coming because this is finally the day that I get to say what I've always wanted to say about Nigeria, but I never could say it because I had never actually been there. I knew all of this stuff already because of my parents, because of what I studied, because of all the developments I've been following closely from abroad, but I couldn't come out and say it because, again, I've never been to Nigeria, so I couldn't see with my own two eyes to say it is like this. But today, I can confirm to you guys, all of my European viewers, especially my Italian viewers, because in my experience, Italy is the country that probably has the most negative stereotypes about Nigerians that I've seen, and the most misconceptions and ignorance about Nigeria that I've ever seen. I'm gonna start off by saying that from what Italians think about Nigerians, they think two main things. Well, three. One, Nigeria is a poor country. This is not true at all. Of the 195 countries in the world, Nigeria has the 27th largest nominal GDP, and in terms of when you put it to the PPP GDP, which is the GDP calculation that's more important because it takes into account the purchasing power of the people, the cost of living in the country, Nigeria is the 22nd largest economy in the world. A lot of people think that Nigeria just has oil, but it doesn't just have oil and is a member of OPEC, but it also has a manufacturing industry, it has a tech industry, it has a financial industry. Nigeria, I saw, has every industry you can think of.
His chief daddy will give us money.
Yes.
Do you know this man said we should write anything we want for Christmas?
Yummy.
My husband's body is barely cold, and the first thing out of your mouth is his will.
Kemi, lenwe, o ma bàjẹ́ o.
From the first day you took your first breath, I have loved you. And nobody is going to take that away.
Sylvia, you, of all people, should have known that this day will come.
How am I supposed to know that the day would come where you would fall in love with somebody else?
What did you expect, Sylvia? You're not even real.
Sucker, baby. Sucker, oh yeah, give fun loco.
Every resource that you can think of, the issue that Nigeria has is that it has a total lack of leadership, which are the government is supposed to be the ones that, you know, take care of you, fix the country, invest in infrastructure, protect consumers, create regulation, and make the life better for the regular people. But the government of Nigeria doesn't do that. isn't doing that, and it's only today that luckily in the southern part of Nigeria, because also Nigeria has a huge north-south divide, you're seeing the private sector come in and make the lives better for Nigerian people. So in terms of Nigeria being poor, that's all quite relative. In absolute terms, comparatively to other countries, Nigeria isn't poor at all. It's the richest country in Africa and the one that has the most positive outlook. So are there poor places and poor people in Nigeria? Of course, but there are poor places and poor people everywhere. If you look at some former Soviet countries in Europe, you're going to find that they're way poorer than Nigeria, but for some reason we have this misconception that all of Europe is rich, all of Africa is poor, and so Nigeria is poor. Another misconception that a lot of Italians have about Nigeria, for what reason I don't know, is that there is a war in Nigeria. You guys, there's no war in Nigeria. I don't know what to say. There is Boko Haram, but Boko Haram is essentially this Islamic extremist group that wants to make all of Nigeria become like some states in the northern region that have Sharia law, and they want everybody to be strict adherents of Islam. And it's really relegated to one tiny piece of the Nigerian northeast. And to show you that Nigeria is 3 times larger than Italy, you guys. So if something is going on in the Northeast, you're not going to hear about it or see it, or it's not going to have anything to do with you that lives in another part of Nigeria. To be honest, you are far more likely to be shot by a random crazy person in a shooting spree or a mass shooting in America, anywhere in America, than you are to be affected by Boko Haram in 90% of Nigeria. There's no war in Nigeria. There is a religious extremist group there, but honestly, you're probably more likely to be caught up in a terrorist attack in London or Paris than you are to be caught up in a terrorist attack in Lagos. So that's the security issue. I feel like, honestly, Boko Haram reminds me a lot about the Italian Mafia. The Italian Mafia, you're not going to really see it or feel it in the northern part of Italy. It's really more entrenched in the southern part of Italy. And it's the same thing for Boko Haram in the north. It's a problem. It needs to be fixed. The things have gotten better. There haven't been any really significant attacks in years. And so I just don't understand why that is a determining factor for everybody to say that Nigeria is this war-torn country together with being poor. Another stereotype about Nigerians that Italians have is that they're all criminals and that the women are prostitutes and the men are drug dealers. This is really ironic that Italians think this, because Italians of all people should know that just because there is a piece of your population that it partakes in certain activities doesn't mean that everybody's like that. Nigeria has 200 million people, okay? It's 3 times larger than Italy. Within these 200 million people, you have different religions. You have half of the country is more or less Islamic, half of the country is more or less Christian. You have multiple tribes, so many tribes I can't even name, with 3 main ones, multiple languages, and the fact that a couple 100,000 go to Italy, and let's just guess that half of them didn't even go willingly with the mindset to say, okay, I'm going to Italy to become a drug dealer, or I'm going to Italy to become a prostitute. The most likely scenario is that they were tricked by somebody in Nigeria, another Nigerian, that told them that we're going to let you go to school in Italy, we're going to have a job ready for you in Italy, we're going to have a life ready for you in Italy, and then they get there and they realize that they've been trafficked into something that they can't get out of, and everything that they thought was going to happen isn't what happened. Another half of them weren't trafficked at all, but had the idea in their head that Europe has streets paved with gold, and all you have to do is get to Europe, and once you're in Europe, you're going to have asylum, and everything is going to be given to you, and so really you just have to survive that boat ride across the Mediterranean. And for us, we're like, but how can somebody get in one of those boats and risk their entire lives to get to another country? Well, I have to say that from what I saw with my own 2 eyes, Nigerians are risk-taking people, okay? People walk along and run across the freeway just to get your idea. It's a country where you're always kind of on the edge of danger. And so I feel like Nigerians are really fearless people, and there's even a Yoruba saying that says your luck is not my luck. So even if a small percentage, because let's be real, most people that take the journey on the boats survive and get here. Because a small percent of them die doesn't mean that's going to happen to me, so I'm probably not going to die, and then once I get there, my life is perfect. I'm not saying any of this is right, but I'm just trying to explain the rationale to you guys. And since the governments of Europe never did anything to like counteract this, they never did anything to say to stop this, people came. More and more people came. But the amount of Nigerians that actually came in that small period of time, because now it's all changed. People in Nigeria know what's going on here. Italy doesn't actually have the best reputation in Nigeria. It's really ironic because they think that Nigerians that go to Italy go to become prostitutes or drug dealers. So even when I was in Nigeria and said I lived in Italy, I had to specify, oh wait, no, I studied there, I work there, I'm an honest person, just like in Italy. When I say my dad is Nigerian, I have to follow it up with, oh yeah, but I'm American. I mean, don't come at me with your negative stereotypes. So ironic. So yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it informational. I hope you learned something, and I hope that it piques your interest a little bit about looking outside of what traditional media and what the government is telling you, because it's always a half truth. And I mean, it's not just Italy or Europe, but even in the States, I never learned about African history. We barely learned about African American history, so I really had to go ultra to study things that were outside of those few little things that America wants you to know. You really have to do your independent research, and you really just have to dig deeper, because I'm telling you, like, if you just stick to the mainstream, you're gonna be fooled and tricked on a lot of things. So yeah, like I said, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's have a discussion in the comment section down below. Let me know one thing that you learned about Nigeria that you didn't know before. I'd like to know. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next one. My next one should be the travel vlog to Nigeria.